how to do those. We'll just pop that to one side for the minute. Non-slip mat or a slightly damp tea towel is excellent to stop your board from slipping away when you're doing this. Now, these are some we did earlier, and we did them using the Squire's Mexican paste. Use a little bit of Trex on your board, and then clean off with some kitchen roll. This gives you, remakes your board very non-stick, but also gets rid of any paste colour that has got on there, or dust colour from the last time you used it. I also find it quite useful to use just a little bit on my hands, because that keeps the paste moist while you're kneading it. So knead it up till it's a working consistency. It needs to be stretchy and not cracking. You can also use flour paste for this, the SFP. But personally I prefer the Mexican because it's less likely to stretch out of shape. I'm using gold wires in this case. They're 26. So they're firm enough that they hold the paste, but they're not so thick that they look heavy. Now, what you need to do is roll out your paste quite thinly. As you want it so that it's thin enough that it's not too heavy and it doesn't look heavy, but thick enough that it will support itself. And I'm using the star cutters. These come in packs of 3 by FMM. Heart cutters are nice as well, but today we're going to use the stars. And just a little bit of Trex around them does help them not to stick. And cut out your stars. Press firmly all round. And when you've cut out a load, I find the easiest thing is to take away the backing paste. That gives the stars a little bit of time to set up before you're lifting them. Right, so you've cut out your stars, and we're going to use the wires. Just use some wire cutters to cut them to the length you want. I like to cut them in unequal lengths so that then you've got a start to how you're going to arrange your stars. I'm using the Squire's Kitchen edible glue here. So all you need to do with that is to dip your wire into it, and that will be enough glue to stick your star on. If you lift it with a palette knife and then slot the wire into the paste, if you hold your fingers so that the wire runs between your fingers, you can feel it and it's less likely to come out the top either side. And then I like to just use a little bit of Oasis and just stick them to dry. You can just lie them on a plate or a board if you don't have the Oasis. It'll take overnight for them to dry up nice and firmly. You could get away with it now, but of course they will be very delicate, so it is better if you can to give them overnight to just completely set, especially the bigger ones, which tend to be more delicate. Now to finish them, we've used some nice glitter. This is from Rainbow Dust. It's holographic glitter. Now in the UK this is classed as a craft colour, The EU do not see this as an edible colour, but for the stars that's fine because it's perfectly acceptable to be used on food products. If you're watching from America and Australia at the moment, they're still classed as edible colours, so you can eat it but we can't. So what I would say is use your own judgment as to what you want to do with it, but if you are using it for commercial purposes in the UK, you shouldn't really be putting this directly onto your cake where people will eat it, but the odd little spangle that drops onto your cake from the stars won't come to any harm and is fine. So all you need to do is use the edible glue where you want the glitter to be. So stick it all over and then sprinkle over the top with the glitter. Come out. And then again, just leave it to dry in the oasis for a little while. Now this will tip back into your pot. You hardly actually use any glitter in the end. Another way of doing it is to glue your stars and then just layer a little bit onto your paper, and that way you can actually just dip it in. Shake off the excess and leave it to set. They have a lot of different colours in the ranges with the rainbow dust. Now if you're using a very dark colour, I would recommend that you actually do the paste in a paler tone of the colour of the glitter. This means that if you do miss a little bit when you're sticking on your glitter, you're not going to see the paste underneath. I'll just show you with this red one. And this is an extremely good colour. It's got some lovely gold bits in it as well. But you see, if I didn't take a bit more time with that, you can see the white, but if you'd have done that pink, it's not quite so obvious. Just make sure all the surfaces are covered, and then tap off the excess. Right, so we've coloured all our stars and left them to dry overnight. So now, where you put your lump of paste, that's set up a little bit as well, which is always good. It's less likely to droop. Use a little bit of glue on the end of your stars and simply arrange them as you would like. Since they're already cut to different lengths, you shouldn't need to do too much, but should you want to just change the length of a wire, it's very easy to use your wire cutters and simply change by snipping a little bit off the end. Now you don't want to push the wires too far down because you don't want them to go into your cake. This way you're keeping with the hygiene regulations by keeping the wires from the cake itself. The other way of doing this, of course, is to use posy picks, and that pushes into the cake and you can just pop your wires into those. But I find this a much better way because you've got more ability to arrange your stars how you would like them to be. So just keep putting them in until you feel you've got enough.